how it all came about with racing is, well, I think it all started with Dad's dad. He used to race at Western Springs and midgets and all that kind of stuff, and you know, he was always brought up around speedway racing, motorbikes. You know, it was just a matter of time for me to be old enough, and then you know, I was always taken to Western Springs and all that kind of stuff. So once I got to the age and I was allowed to start racing and that, and I definitely had an interest in it. Mum and Dad put the offer out there and I said yes, and then ever since then got my first quarter midget and been hooked since that day. Mum's dad used to crew for Steve Prescott, and so they were sort of in the racing scene kind of thing, and I guess once she met Dad it kind of all came together in that, and Mum's dad wasn't too much of a fan of Dad's life of motorbikes and race cars and all that kind of daredevil kind of stuff, but I guess over the years it's all come together and it's a lot of support. I didn't really get to watch a lot of F2 racing just because the way the schedule was during the night. The TQs were either right before them or right after them, so you know, you're on the dummy grid while they're out there, so pretty much the only time I got a snippet would be up on the big screen while I'm on the dummy grid and all that kind of stuff, or yeah. But when I did watch, I think I watched a lot of when Zahn Turner was in it. You know, just he was pretty good, and old Dobbsy and that, they used to go a lot of battles, and you always see them up the front. So you know, I'm really excited to move up, and you know, it's definitely going to be a challenge with different drivers and different driving styles and cars and bigger and all that kind of stuff. My main goal is midget racing, so this is one step closer, and everyone that's made this happen is, you know, I really appreciate it. As you can see, we've got Pacey Trucks back on board as our main sponsor. We've had him for 4 years in the TQs, and that kind of got linked up through Dad at his work, which is Civic, which is our second main sponsor in a way, and you know, they did a lot with them through trucks and all that kind of stuff, so just by word of mouth, and you know, Dad builds a lot of relationships with the guys that, you know, they use and that through work, and that's where most of our sponsorships have come through, and just through word of mouth and building those good relationships. And so yeah, so Pacey is pretty part of the family kind of thing now, so he was pretty keen to come back on board, and you know, we've sold a lot of trucks for him with just the signage on the side of the car and the trailer and that, so he's definitely getting exposure. We've got a lot of sponsors that don't help out with the money side of it, but just a lot of other things, like our main one would probably be West Engineering. You know, he helps us out all hours, whenever, whatever we need, machining stuff for the cars and all that kind of stuff for last minute kind of deals and that, and that's another friendship that Dad's built through work that links back to Civic and all that kind of stuff when they need it for their work and that. So it just, like I said, it just all through word of mouth, and just these days I see as, you know, with your sponsors you got to build it into a relationship and a friendship, and you know, earn their trust and all that kind of stuff, and you know, look out for them and do what you can to make them proud. Another one would be Acro powder coating. So that's another one that's he does all of our powder coating for the chassis. He's another one that's backed me up since the day one when I started in quarter midgets and that, and pretty much once they get back from him, the aluminium panels will be powder coated, which gives us time to send our fiberglass ones off to Wayne Scott at 0800 Beta, Wayne Scott panel beaters, and he's another one that's helped us out throughout the years just with painting and all that kind of stuff. now that I'm racing for Adam Dobbs and the team, they've had existing sponsors throughout his seasons and all that kind of stuff, and just like us and any other driver kind of thing, you want to build those strong relationships, and he's done that through Filter Master and Jack Links and that, which they've definitely backed him up throughout the season and all that kind of stuff. He's got KBL and SSL that are on board as well. Obviously Adam's put in a good word about me and showed my racing CV, so they're definitely on board to back me up as well on this new journey. He's definitely made a strong relationship through Takanini Fabrication. They do a lot of our stuff if we need it kind of thing, and PhD Electrical, they wire up all of our cars and they help us out in different parts. Loan Market, they help us out quite a bit, and as I say, they're all on board again, and we've got a pretty good deal with Kaiser Wheels, and they're from the States and they're looking after us with our new hubs and all that kind of stuff, and when we need it, so they're a pretty strong contact. And we've just picked up a new sponsor, Kempe Race Pipes in Australia, so we're doing a bit of teamwork there, and he's looking for little bits here and there in different places, and what can help him out is anything to him, so he thought he'd jump at this opportunity to help us out on the cars and see where that takes him. With my job, being a signwriter at BDR Max alongside Brad Mosen, he's kind of what sparked me all into the signage deal. Being a little kid, there was a lot of cars out there that looked exactly the same, and Brad always came out with a completely different car and it just looked badass, and that kind of sparked me into getting into stickers. And just over the past years at school, I've been doing the odd helmet and all that kind of stuff for drivers and little bits on cars and that, and Brad saw potential in me, and they were looking for a new young guy to bring up in the ranks, and now that he's done that and taken me on board at BDR Max, and they've definitely come on board this year and helped out, and I've wrapped the whole cars and done all the design myself and everything, so that was always my goal, was to be able to design and wrap one of my own cars. And there's a good link with BDR Max and Jason. He looks after Jonathan Allard and all of his sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. So, with especially having Adam at Narelle Pools come on board for Jonathan Allard's main sponsor last season, they definitely made a good friendship and bond between him and Jason at BDR, and it's definitely helped out this year. Race numbers, all right. So with the main car, that's 19. So it's a bit of a story behind that one. Throughout my quarter midget years, I didn't really have an idol. I kind of wanted to try and do my own thing, and I ran number 71 and all that kind of stuff. And when I moved into TQs and I started getting older and understanding drivers, and started respecting drivers, that's how it came about. Brad being my idol at racing and all that kind of stuff, and throughout his years he's had different numbers throughout the different teams and all that kind of stuff, so I wanted something that was a true Brad Mosen. So I look back and he ran 19 since quarter midgets and then into TQs, and he did it in his midget as well, and so that's the story behind number 19, so that's how that came about on that car. And with the number 9 on this car, being the spare car, Dobbsy ran number 9 last year, so kind of made sense to run his number on the spare car and kind of just bring them both together. I think it all comes down with mindset. I've sat down with Adam quite a lot, and we've talked about his racing throughout the season and what competition is like in that class, and you can have a whole field out there, but there will be about 6 guys up the front that are definitely going for it. So You know, I'm open to learning. You know, it's a different class, and the racing competition will be different to what it was like in the TQs. With the TQs, you had to keep the car as straight as you can and not scrub up speed. And I guess with these, there's a little bit of leeway with the cars being a bit bigger and maybe a bit faster and all that kind of stuff. So it's just all learning, I think, and just going in with the right mindset and being positive. And I know I'm going to get nervous in that, especially first season out in a new car and a team and all that kind of stuff. So I think definitely mindset is a big part of it. The differences between the two cars would be size difference. You got 3/4 the size of a midget, and now I'm in a midget chassis. I think pretty much that will be the main one, just learning the width of the car, and I should pick it up pretty quick because I've been racing for quite a while and learning cars and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's just the size of the cars and just how they react differently. Obviously with the TQ we ran coils, and these are all set up with torsion and that, so you know that's another learning curve for me and Dad on setup of cars and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely going to be a lot of teamwork and a lot of learning. Our crew, so last year it was with the TQ, it was pretty much just a family show kind of thing. It was just pretty much me go out and race while Mum and Dad are in the pits doing the hard work, and that's pretty much I had my best mate Sam, he crewed for me last year as well, and he got the hang of it, and you know he's definitely good on the spanners, so we can definitely look into that for this season if we need an extra person. He's definitely keen to learn and all that kind of stuff, and obviously with Dobbs, with his crew, I'm still yet to meet them all and all that kind of stuff, and just get to know each other and sit down and chill out and then go racing. Off seasons, they're pretty painful. You know, at the end of the season, you want to go out with a bang kind of thing, and in a way you can kind of just relax because you know all the nerves and all that kind of stuff is off your shoulders, but then it all builds up again because you know the next season's coming, and it feels long but it comes up really quick. You know, it's another thing trying to get into the right mindset leading up to the season. You know, you start hanging out with your mates more and all that kind of stuff, so you're stepping away from the racing when it's in the off season, and when you get time to start pulling the cars apart and all that kind of stuff, looking at new gear, and that's when you need to go and approach new sponsors or existing sponsors to see if they'll come back on board. And you know you got to do well in that side of it and promotional side of it, so that all plays a part. And a lot of this season off season I've definitely got into my fitness. I'm going 10k runs every night. I was listening to Brad and he said, you know, you'll be sitting on the dummy grid and you'll know for a fact that you're fitter than that guy there and that guy there, and it's definitely a confidence boost. And he said himself the only time he got fit was when he won the 50 lapper, I think back in 2009 or something, and he never got back into his fitness, and it's probably the reason why he didn't win another 50 lapper. But this season he's definitely got back into his fitness, and it's definitely changed his attitude towards racing, and more positive, and you know you feel good after a good run and that, so you know you're going to eliminate that factor of getting tired during a race, and you know you're going to be at your full potential.